a very, very fast-paced lineup.
They're going to need some 4-stars of their own, though, on Hokori, right? You're going up against this Beastmaster Skywrath Mage combination. Very potent, that can just get kills on their own throughout the map once you hit the level 6 timing on both of them. I mean, of course, you've even got the Storm Spirit able to assist, but, you know, just those two, if you're able to counter it out with a singular item, that's going to go a long way towards your victory. Glimmercape as well, honestly, fulfilling a pretty similar sort of role.
Yeah, so it seems like both sides are kind of in the same kind of avenue with how they want to try and maybe take some of these skirmishes. Mention Evil Geniuses with the Beast and the Mystic Flare.
Has to be a little bit careful here. He's got all the boys coming up behind him.
Long wraparound from the boys.
Yeah. They're going to want to see how these lanes are set up potentially beforehand as well. That's the purpose of the Hawk that's been laid out between the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 up on the top side. So when they don't see anyone for that entire pathway, they know they've avoided a smoke. They're going to be able to back off and just focus on their lanes for now. No pickoffs have been obtained, and Nightfall did actually go for that Call of the Wild, of course. So we'll see how they look to set up these lanes with the Core. Do they even start with a tri-lane? Because it's not horrendous. You know, the Sven stun into the Cold Feet has the potential to be able to get some kills, especially if you can get a slow off as well with the Shield Crash.
Something we saw Liquid do a lot through the last chance qualifiers, where they just aggro, even just before the kind of creeps met, doing a lot of damage early on, and then all of a sudden you just TP up the fellow support to have that natural 2-1-2 lane.
Yep, but you see they're using the Hawk very effectively. Gardeck and Vitaly walking underneath it, so they are setting up the lanes like we were wanting to on the top side, and Arteezy was just hanging around that mid lane, only making his movement up towards this side of the map once that was revealed. I wonder if now they're going to look and see his inventory, the fact that he doesn't have the TP available though.
Yeah, this top lane is pretty much how I'm going to expect it to go for the rest of the lane here. Like, this is not fun for Hokori at all. You see just Ignite, raise spams. It's going to be like this for the entire lane, I think.
It's looking a little rough for the very beginning, but you're going to have that not necessarily turnaround potential, but as soon as Pango gets more and more points into it, and that's why they're prioritizing the kills onto him, right? Look to try and punish him as quickly as you can. Gardeck, he's going to go forward, trying to pick off this kill onto the SF.
Not the case. They might get a double kill turnaround. Pango giving over to Arteezy, but he will miss the short raise. Vitaly being able to duck into the tree line. Pango is going to be okay. At least the lane is now getting shoved out, and they don't have the small camp to kind of play around with the equilibrium.
Going for, even looking at dive on in with the shield crash just to secure that creep there, also getting a little bit of the damage reduction coming through. But yeah, they've used a lot of mana. Sure, they were able to secure the first blood, but wasn't onto the hero that they wanted it to. They would have loved to get that kill onto Vitaly so he wasn't getting all of this free XP.
Let's take a look at how the safe lane is shaping up for Hokori at the moment, because their off lane struggling a little bit. But Lumiere, 6 last hits early on, having a pretty good time. That's what we were asking for the lane, to just put the Sven into the Morphling, being able to protect him. But do we feel like this is going to get difficult as the levels go on here for Hokori's safe lane?
Potentially, but I mean, they've also got some kill threat as well for crit. I know you need to emphasize the attribute shift for the Morphling, but level 4, I feel like they could potentially look to make something happen. This is just more harass coming through, but with no mana left, I don't know if they're going to have the easiest time dealing with these boars for Nightfall. Happening in mid lane. I mean, Arved on his Storm Spirit. Lane's pushing back into him. Just wanting to make sure he's securing a lot of that early experience. That's the important timing for a Storm Spirit relative to a Tiny, right? His is more the level 8 Storm Spirit, level 6, where you can really start to make a lot of those early movements happen around the power runes. But Analog's been doing a great job of just making sure to toss Arved up, make sure he gets the stuns off to deny a lot of these last hits off, and means that you're not going to be accelerating quite as quickly as you would have liked.
We've got some 2-1v1s going on at the moment. Not quite sure who's coming out on top. Arteezy's still trying to man-fight Vitaly. Pengli going to get some distance away, almost finding that long raise, but with Gardeck nearby, we'll pressure the Shadow Fiend to not continue on to try and get that last little bit of damage required to secure the kill.
You're not amazingly happy with this, though, on EG, right? Like, I know it's super early on, but he just got his 10th last hit there on the Shadow Fiend, so he's only just maxed out the Necro Mastery for now, and he's last in terms of net worth for all the cores, and he might be dying here.
Is he going to tick out? He will. Guarding with the last right click. Beautifully done. The big kill for them to find. They're not going to be able to get rid of the beefy boy in the Ogre. Shield Crash is coming up shortly, however, but I think Fly will be fine.
I don't think you care, to be honest. I think you'd much rather have an Ogre up here alive, leeching experience away from the Shadow Fiend with little mana. Honestly, a kill might send him back to the base and enable him to get a kill onto Vitali, so I think they're totally fine with leaving Fly here.
Bottom lane, Lumiere. The Silence into the burst. Crit almost enough damage, but Nightfall wasn't able to help out here. No point in the Wild Axe, of course. I'm unexpected in this lane where there's no way to deal with the boars, but just didn't have that burst potential to get rid of the Morphling thanks to the Fairy Fire.
Be careful, just have a look at Crit's positioning. He's always looking, seeing if he's going to be, morphing a little bit more aggressively. And there we go, he gets caught out.
This time they'll find it. Beautifully done. They had the ward, so they knew Theolacor had left the lane. There was going to be no assistance from the Sven to maybe disrupt the spell. Slowing down this Morphling's game, very important, because we spoke about this late game matchup versus Shadow Fiend. It is pretty goddamn solid for Lumiere as it goes on. This is always a strength for evil geniuses. No matter the iteration of their roster, their lanes have always been something they pride themselves on. And Nightfall 29-12 compared to the 14-4. Mid lane is looking pretty decent at the moment between Analog and Arbed, but still the Storm is getting a lot out of it.
He's getting a decent amount. I mean, it's on the back of a lot of lanes pushing in. That's what a Tiny's going to do naturally, right? With the tree grab, of course, important to be able to secure one of those ranged last hits as the Olakor. He's actually going to drop on this bottom side of the map. Pretty important to have that body there available so that Lumiere's got a decent safety net in the lane, but he is getting a lot of this solo experience. He is level 3, and Crit doesn't have the biggest mana pool to be able to play with. It might still be enough. Top side, they actually get the kill onto guarding.
See if they're going to try onto Arbed. Just picking up the level 6. Power Rune spawning shortly as well. He's going to have Fly nearby to try and secure with the rune, but the burst might catch him off guard. Double stun. Beautiful use of the chain control for Hokori. Get a big kill. You need Analog to have a really important early game here to make the space. These rotations going to pay massive for his farming speed. They're going to be able to chase down Fly, adding another kill to the tally. It's just a question of who gets the finishing blow. And it will be the Ancient Apparition.
On the way back, Analog is going to be able to walk on through past the bounty rune, be able to pick that one up, and maybe even go for a little bit of a backstep here onto the Storm Spirit, but Arbed, he's playing around a full mana pool once again, having come back from the base. They're actually going to scan out Analog. Oh, will he dodge the scan, actually? Oh, just clips on it.
Expired. Did it clip? I thought it expired. Did it go red for you?
Clip. I think it... Well, I'm red-green colorblind, so don't take my word for it.
Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. So I don't think he got clipped. It doesn't matter. They're not going for the lane anyway, so... Chilling, backing off. That's a lot of time out of the lane for the Tiny, but I guess you've got Theolacor that's soaking up, I should say, some experience.
Pretty important for a Sven, against the Shadow Fiend, who's going to have a lot of his levels prioritized. Just having more points in the Warcry really effective. But not if Lumiere is going to be dying down on this bottom side, though.
Waveform into the lane. Got some one charges. Let's see if the bonus health is going to be enough, and he doesn't even use the charges. So another death onto Lumiere. Meanwhile, Hokori, they are shoving Arteezy out of the top lane, so at least they're getting something else across the map.
They're getting something. But you got a mid lane also being shoved in, right? Like, the Olakor, he was starting to make his path back towards the, what's he doing here? Arbed's just looking to cheat the waves a little bit here and look to deny away a lot of this gold from Hokori.
Oh? No way. Oh, that was so close. That would have been a big kill for Lumiere to find. Already his tower's gone down, so he can't continue to play around bottom. It's going to be an incredible Helm timing for Nightfall, which he already has. And he can now consider about wrapping on mid if he wants to shortly.
Yeah, I think he can just continuously slow push the creep wave out. I think you're fine to continue farming down here. It's kind of the vengeful spirit situation.
Vitali. Crit's going to end up walking through the tree line with the Ancient Seal. Extra magic. Going to be able to help Arteezy to blow him up. Slowing down the Pain Gladiator. First death of the game for him. But of course, that ultimate's going to be really important for Hokori to potentially get kills up top and open up the map.
The Hokori even looking to go for the big wraparound. Try and find Arteezy on the backlines with the respawn coming through. He's pinging out, hey, this is where I'm looking to play, but Arteezy senses something's up. Doesn't want to commit too deep into the lane, and he's going to back off entirely. Do they have a smoke available? They do, but it would be one of the shortest smokes I've ever seen. They end up committing it.
Tiny's in some trouble at the moment. Arbet's got plenty of mana to be able to utilize. Just a question if the damage is going to be there fast enough. It would be the case, but the cold feet proc onto Arbet is still going to die out of the tower. So Hokori, final 1-for-1 trade, but I mean, again, this Tiny needs to be someone that's kind of snowballing the game.
Does indeed. They are also looking to make sure that their sentry ward coverage is good, denying away the Hawk that Nightfall had set up there, and there's that wraparound that you were talking about with the Skeleton Army, of course, to be able to assist. Certainly helps matters, but just going to continuously push this one in, up the tempo again. Morphling didn't have the greatest time in lanes, sitting last on the cores, so if they can keep this sort of situation a reality, shove out the lanes, commit multiple heroes to make sure that they maintain map control for Lumiere to farm, they're going to be very happy still. Not if he dies from this rotation, though. They've got the Roar, they've got the Ancient Seal, and they've got the Mystic Flare, more importantly.
I think the Ward at the jungle was able to scout them out, though. I didn't see the pathing from EG. I was going to be able to read that to TP out. So I think for Hokori, even though it's a 1,000 deficit, they're starting to pick up their ultimates. Vitali with the Rolling Thunder, you've got the Ice Blast as well. You need to try and get some pickoffs to be able to open up the map. Easy inside the jungle.
They're tossing out the Ice Blast.
Yeah, they're going to see him surely. They got confirmation. Are they going to be fast enough? They will not. Arteezy just surviving, but it looks like without EG around top, this will be a free tower from Hokori. They might be able to trade mid, though.
EG looking to make that a priority for themselves. Don't really have anyone to tank up the tower hits, though, ensuring that that siege creep stays alive, so Abed trying to use a little bit of his bottle, but you would really want Nightfall to be here. It seems like he's got away from that aspect, considering how much emphasis they put onto protecting this wave. Much rather just pick up that farm, get that Helm of the Overlord, and be this unstoppable force about 15 or so minutes into the game. Really has been Nightfall that's been the most impressive improvement coming through from EG. And, you know, he hasn't really looked incredibly solid all throughout EG's performance, but he's showing up right now.
That he is. And the Beastmaster is really going to enable them. Importantly, the Shadow Fiend, potentially Vision as well to set up for some of these pickoffs. With the good start that he's having, it's going to be very difficult to deal with this hero. There's someone who can set the tempo. They need to get kills though, Hokori. With this blink, that's what they're waiting for. They have it completed now from Analog. It's going to be as smoke as these two, but they will be too late to protect the tier 1 tower, so it's going to go down without any contest at all. It could have been a big opening them to take a fight, but EG, they'll get out.
I think it's important if they can keep Nightfall
top lane
dead.
He might be picked off from crit. Almost enough damage with the Mystic Flare. Gets out of it. And now they're going to jump in mid lane. Arbed, he's able to zip away. Inside the river though, Guardian's going to be in some trouble. It's going to be up to Vitali with the Rolling Thunder. They won't have the Roar to be able to stop him in his tracks, but where's the extra damage coming through? Nightfall's able to step out to the right side, so the Beastmaster's going to be okay for the moment. And now they can turn their attention back to the Pango, but it's just the Ogre flying Nightfall in combination, and they're happy with what they've got. It Rolling Thunder on cooldown and a kill onto Guardi.
Yeah, I have to question their choice of going on to Arbed instead. Oh, yes, it's going to be important to be able to pick him off, and Fly is actually going to live as well.
Oh my, the raindrops keeping Fly alive, and now the rest of EG, they're going to swing on over for the team fight. They've got plenty of damage to get rid of Analog. They might be lacking the stuns to catch up to Vitali though, so the Pangoli will be able to position himself back towards the tier 2 tower.
They'll be able to reclaim that high ground as well, just seeing with how Hokori were able to fight, understanding that they had the vision there. So vision shrinking, you're always going to have the advantage playing with a Beastmaster, and I mean, this is that timing. I said 15 minutes, but it's just gone so well. They didn't focus in onto Nightfall with that gank attempt when he had his creep army following him into the ancient camp area. Instead, going onto Arbed, hit into his infused raindrops. He lived, and he was able to turn it around.
Again, for Hokori, stressing it a lot this game. They need to get pickoffs. Like this Blink Dagger for Analog, it's an item that enables you to get kills. It is not going to help with your farming. It's really see he's starting to fall a little bit further behind if you compare him towards Arbed's net worth. We'll run into crit up top though. Healer core with Lumiere nearby should be enough damage to be able to kill off the Sky. We'll reveal the ward positioning on the high ground.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, thinking maybe they thought Analog was just moving around, but he picks it out. I mean, yeah, like you said, you need to make sure that you're getting a lot of those pickoffs, but a lot of the time, it's you get this mid-tiny and you pair it together with a position 4 that does a lot of damage. The Yellow Core does not do a lot of damage, and they look to go for that kill attempt onto the Storm Spirit previously with the AA Blast connecting on everything, and he still didn't die. So that's the big area of concern that I've got for Hokori right now.
Do we think the damage is going to come out from the levels? I guess Analog... Oh, I thought mid lane. Let's see if he's going to be able to get the toss. He will want to Storm Spirit. Great sidestep from the Tiny, making sure he puts himself directly on the Storm instead of the creeps.
And he has the double damage as well, which certainly helps matters. Turn around. A lot more burst damage coming through onto Arbed, and just that extra little bit of levels coming in handy. Ended up doing 200 damage with the tree throw, which was enough to get to the grave.
Healer core playing in front of Lumiere, so he's going to be able to pop the smoke. And won't get the prize target of the Morphling.
Levels coming in handy. Ended up doing 200 damage with the tree throw, which was enough to get to the grave.
Healer core playing in front of Lumiere, so he's going to be able to pop the smoke. And won't get the prize target of the Morphling. And Radiant is starting to show up to try and take the skirmish if it does continue on. In the end, will just be a 1-for-1 trade, nothing crazy.
It's slightly worrying for the EG though, isn't it? You know, you've got this Lumiere, he's working his way towards the Manta style, and after that, going to be immediately towards the BKB for himself. They're playing around their high ground pretty effectively on EG, but it's under all of the vision that they've got on Hokori right now. So if they wanted to make another jump happen with Analog, they've got the tools to be able to do so. Maybe not so much when you've got this Siege Creep and the Ancient Granite Golem to play with.
It's a great...
All of the vision that they've got on Hokori right now. So if they wanted to make another jump happen with Analog, they've got the tools to be able to do so. Maybe not so much when you've got this Siege Creep and the Ancient Granite Golem to play with.
It's a great ward on the cliff. Scouts him out in the back line as well. Vitalik can even initiate as well. They're going to try and bring down Fly. I mean, he was just waiting for them to jump, begging Hokori to try and have the follow-up.
They got the damage. Look at this.
Arbed can come into play. He's onto Lumiere on the left side. The attribute shift, he doesn't find it fast enough as Arbed. Quick on the fingers with the electric vortex, and he's already looking for more. They've got the Hawk that scouts out Gardick's position as Arbed is everywhere on the Storm Spirit, and he'll be rewarded for a double kill.
And here we go, straight into Roche Pit. That's exactly where they wanted to take this fight. You're probably going to look to give it over to Arbed. Second Roche still feels like the timing for EG, and they're going to have the openings to be able to do it. But, I mean, just look at this. Fly, he knows that he's the bait. He's given up his life, and they commit so much just to try and take out one hero. Onto the backlines, Vitalik's trying to chase down Nightfall. They get the Primal Roar onto the Pango, and Arteezy just chunks him down in about 4 hits. That's the power of the enemy store. That's the power of the
Vitalik.
Lord Aura.
Back live, he's trying to time it, but he doesn't get the Aegis. So close to stealing a key component of Roche, but not the case. Is now probably the best hero in the game with a second life to work with.
Indeed. I mean, that would have done a little bit of the job towards slowing down the game a bit. We're even going to use the illusions to scout out where Lumiere's farming. Force him to play a little bit more scared, maybe slow down a little bit of that efficiency from farming. Lumiere, all the SA carries, to be honest, because K1 as well as Lumiere, very, very good farmers once you just give them the space in the jungle to be able to do so. So, wouldn't be surprised if they're just taking their attention away from him, and then he just pops out at the very end with the Manta style and heading towards that Aghanim Scepter, but it's going to be quite some time until he gets to that stage.
Yeah, and the concern I have is... Wait for a second. Crit and Nightfall are maybe ready to take a fight. Scouting out a Hokori inside the lane. They will be able to retreat as a team though, so Hokori going to be chilling. But yeah, I'm concerned of the item build here for Lumiere because I think he needs another defensive item after the Manta. Like it's a very good Linken's game. That's exactly right. I don't think you can afford it, but I think if you don't go Linken's, then you just die. So feels like it's a very awkward game to play here for the Morphling. You need the Scepter, but you kind of need another item to be in fighting shape.
You need to spend with that Warcry Aghanim Shard. You need a 4-star as well. So I think Gardick, it kind of makes sense to want to go for his own shard, but he needs Force. He needs that to be able to deal with a lot of this burst.
Make or break it defense from Hokori. 6,000 deficit. Not an easy fight for them to take it all. EG, they're gonna look to back up. They won't even give that opportunity for Hokori.
An ancient granite golem is a big boy once he gets the bloodlust used in onto
Arbed?
it.
Smoke's gonna pop. They've gone for the Chank and Sean so that instead of the damage burst from the tiny combo. He's not gonna tick out. Nice use of the zip to prevent some of the damage.
Again, every single time that they're not able to claim a kill on EG, they're not able to force the tempo even further, it causes Abed to go back to base. Sure, it's fine, and it means that you've still got that level 12, you've got the Aegis to be able to play around, but you've got to be making aggressive moves. You've got to have an understanding of where Lumiere is farming at all times. Now, all the way back in base. They're making the right moves. Onto Analog, the main pace setter for Analog that's going to stop a lot of their aggression.
And look at the Mystic Flare burst. Crit just easily walks into the lane to drop the ultimate. Tempo control, the Space Maker going down once again. Third death of the game here from Analog, and now they're going to look to sweep to top. They see Theolocore playing out here. A long zip in from Arbed. Pogo sticking to the tree line. Is he going to drop the Remnant for the vision? Not the case. Nice TP out.
Okay. They're making good space. I mean, Analog probably doesn't want to give up his life that freely. Might even look to go into... I guess the Echo Saber makes sense just because of the Ogre Axe, but it's pretty late into the game, but the Infused Raindrop still gives a pretty good amount of value against this pickoff. Again, playing under that Beastmaster vision, they know exactly where all of Hokori are. They're going to know when Lumiere rotates back, isn't able to play with the rest of the team, and they know they've got backup. So they're going to go on to someone that's a little bit easier.
Just walking to the river.
Yeah.
It's the regen as well on Arbed. Well, she's not going to be able to find it though. Easy kill onto Guardix, just a question of if Lumiere can get out with his own life, and yeah, it looks like that will be the case.
That Lumiere had to assist with a lot of that though. He's going straight into the Ags. This game does change massively if you're able to get to that stage. This time around...
He got it! Oh, the Requiem was just fast enough to cancel the TPs. Analog's now stuck up top with no assistance because mid lane another fight is breaking out. The rule to hold him in track. There's nothing you can do with the Rolling Thunder. They'll pummel him to him, getting another kill onto Vitali and also an objective for good measure as EG. The ball is rolling, 11,000 net worth lead, and it looks like there's no stopping these boys.
Yeah, they're not slowing it down enough. Lumiere, he's doing his best to try and keep this pressure in onto the bottom side, maybe force a defensive movement out of EG, but they're not interested at all in the bottom side of the map right now. You know, maybe if you can make a movement with just Crit and Arbed, but feels like they just want to put all of their pressure onto the top side, take that farming avenue away from Lumiere, force him to farm in the riskier positions when, I mean, they've still got a tier 2 that they could look to take on the bottom side of the map if they were wanting to. But for now, top side, that's the main priority for EG.
Another jump in, Arbed. Once again, Theolocore playing with no one. Hokori is so worried about trying to follow up with the burst and potential of EG to turn it around. And now they're even just into the Dragon forward, guarding like, what do I do against the summons?
Oh, nothing. They can do absolutely nothing against this. And what level is Arteezy? Level 16. Wouldn't you know it, Prince of the Dark Lord affects buildings, and that melts in about 5 seconds with the combination of the Helm of the Overlord. Even just keeping the Beastmaster around just in case for a little bit of that aura.
It feels like they're going to have such a crazy hill to climb even once Lumiere gets towards his scepter. That's really the last hope. I think they're going to take one more fight with his scepter. If it doesn't pay off, then they'll probably call it. But it's just a question, like, it could be such a high net worth lead that even once he gets the scepter, they're going to be too far behind where they won't have a way back in.
TZ's actually TP'd down here to the bottom side of the map. They'll see him.
Nightfall is just going to jump over the Sven. Instant use of the BKB. He'll clean up the Ancient Apparition, and meanwhile to the northern side as well as Arbed. He himself is all that is required to get rid of the Sven. An attempt from Hokori going begging. Instantly they have to back off with Analog, who's going to duck into the trees.
I wonder if he's gonna like Avatoss and then blink off and use the TP scroll. Maybe a little bit of PTSD coming out from that previous Requiem used. Might look to get the next wave instead. But Arteezy understands that he's got to hedge his bets a little bit here. You know, he's already gotten into the single Hyperstone. He wants to go into the Moon Shard so that even if the Morphling is able to get that Aghanim Shard and have it for a couple of fights, sure, you might lose 70 attack speed and 20% of your agility, which, you know, sucks. But you're still going to have decent enough attack speed with the Inner Beast Aura to still be a significant threat.
Yeah, very interesting. I wonder if we're going to continue to see this kind of be the itemization to deal with this Morphling Scepter. We saw when we were casting PSG.LGD on day one, our army went down that route with the Moon Shard on the Faceless Void.
And we've even seen a few teams go the Linked Sphere just to prevent it happening, assuming that they don't have some kind of long-range way to be able to break it. But the times that I've seen it actually have been when the hero has illusions, and you're actually still able to steal off of the illusion, and it affects the main hero. So hopefully not too many teams get caught out by that.
It's so silly how that does that. It's like...
Oh, they're committing heavily in this mid lane. Blink in by Nightfall onto the tier 3 high ground, and bottom lane as well. They're just cleaning up everyone.
Yeah, EG just playing the 2-1-2. Arteezy and Fly down bottom. You had Crit and Nightfall that were getting kills across the map along with Arbed with them, and they're going to look to end up on the high ground and probably end this game as well now. They even need the Roche to potentially spawning. In fact, it will be spawning in 20 seconds, but EG don't give a damn about that. Up they go without a care in the world.
A little bit early. Yeah, they were a little bit early on that glyph. You've got the Mask of Madness, you've got the Bloodlust, you've got the Moon Shard on Arteezy. He just demolishes these buildings right now, and you can't afford to buy back on the Morphling. This is what you've been waiting all of this time for, to be able to protect this, to be able to get the Aghanim Scepter timing. I said it was about 30 or so minutes that you need to be playing around, and it really feels like Hokori only have, well, they have no more mistakes that they can make, to be honest. You've got to give everything over to Lumiere, give him his level 18, and hope he can carry the game for you. Thing is, though, EG will be able to play around that Roshan if they scout it out, pick it up, and then maybe that Morphling won't be as much of a threat. I mean, I wouldn't even put it past them to continuously play on these front lines again and just want to get a pick off, because they probably know that Roshan's the next attempt, and if Lumiere's just stuck in the base with the not too great gold bounty that you get from killing the super creeps, then it does mean that his timing is still slowed down, and even just the experience front, he's leeching it with the rest of his teammates, or rather it's being shared. So might hit the Aghanim Scepter, but not going to have that level 18 that you need, so it's basically 100% uptime. He's got it though. Hopefully he doesn't reveal himself with the creeps as having it picked up for about 1 second. I want to see if there were any pings on the map. It doesn't seem like it. You're going to be able to clear out the Hawk as well. Instantly looking to go for a smoke, I would imagine, but that even makes it kind of obvious what you're looking to do.
Dire are scanning.
Scan connects. Behind Lumiere. Acting as the bait is going to be the Morphling. With a wraparound, or do they continue to follow the wave? They need to get some wards down if they're going to be able to take this team fight. The Dragon will scout at the positioning, and EG are going to look for a smoke themselves.
So much information to fly.
Analog.
Be a bit careful here.
Jump in. Again, we saw what Fly was able to do prior, though. Like, this is a hero here. He's just asking for them to jump. He's wanting spells just to be wasted on him. And EG, they don't even care. They're just going to go bottom.
Oh,
they're like, all right, we'll
this is
come
so
back.
silly.
Come defend him. And look at Arvid. He sees multiple people taking into the tree line. Oh, what a beautiful play from the Storm Spirit. Just going exactly to where you would expect Hokori to TP back.
Oh, man. They're just doing everything right. And even with this, Fly, I asked for him to get the Aghanim Shard at the very start of the game, when you consider this is probably going to be coming at an equivalent time to the Morphling getting the Aghanim Scepter, and he's got enough gold to be able to buy it if he wants. Roshan really seems like going to be the next priority for EG. I would imagine that they're going to give the Aghanim Shard over to Arteezy this time. Just getting a little bit of that extra damage. He's already got crit sources, but extra little bit can never hurt. Full wraparound
Eventually
though.
last team fight. Smoke's gonna pop, and look, gets the jump at Arteezy, quick on the fingers with the BKB and the Requiem charge up, and now they've got firm control of the area. Nothing they can do on Hokori. They're just too far behind, with a net worth lead insurmountable, as Evil Geniuses will be able to secure the Game 1 victory 28 minutes in.
Yeah, this is kind of what happens when you go the not great responses to the fast draft in the first phase, right? The Ancient Apparition, the Morphling picked up super early on, but if you don't have those bans immediately after the Morphling to protect it, when you reveal the strat this early on, this is what can happen. EG just changing up their draft. Well, I don't want to say changing up their draft, but they pick the Shadow Fiend first. They have flexibility with that, and then they just say, we're just going to go. Go, go, go. What's going to provide us to that vision? Pushing power, creeps,